NDP leader Marit Stiles speaking at the party's annual convention in Niagara Falls. Let's listen in.
Thank you, everybody. Bonjour tout le monde. Good morning. Annie, it is so good to see you all here. And I just want to say, wherever you've come from, whether it's Sioux Lookout or Sarnia, and to all of those who are joining us online, I want to start by saying thanks for your membership in our great party, for the work you do in your communities to build support for this movement, this NDP. Merci pour votre adhésion à notre grand parti et merci aussi pour le travail que vous faites dans vos communautés pour bâtir du soutien à notre mouvement. Thank you. When I look out at this crowd, I gotta say, and I've been going around the convention a lot, and I see a lot of familiar faces. Some of you I have known for many years. Some of you I'm just getting to know. I see people who roll up their sleeves to volunteer in every election, right? In the brutal heat of some of those summer by-elections, in waist-deep snow like this winter's campaign, knocking on doors, phoning voters, putting up signs, filing expenses, entering data, riding association presidents and executive members, past and current elected MPPs and MPs. I see so many Ontario NDP youth, right? I mean, what is going on? And I was gonna say, that is the next generation of leaders in our party, but they are already leading, right? I also see so many partners in labor, union leaders, rank and file members who do double duty, working in your locals and then building the party through your riding associations. You are carrying on a legacy of that partnership between labor and the NDP that helped us win so much for working people. You know, from the bargaining table to the legislative table, wins, 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 like universal health care, better employment standards, health and safety protections, pensions, equal pay legislation. The list goes on, and it will go on, because this relationship is the foundation of our party. And my commitment to you is that we are going to strengthen and renew that partnership for the decades to come. Strong. So I want to thank you again. Thank you all for being here for our first in-person convention since 2019. And what better place to come together to write our next chapter than right here in beautiful Niagara Falls. And yeah, so beautiful. And it was right here, and we've been reminded of this throughout the entire weekend, but more than 6 decades ago, this is where it all began. In 1961, farmers, labor unions, workers, activists, dreamers, all came together to found the Ontario NDP. And you know, they arrived with very little money, very little power, but a great deal of hope. This is what those founders understood, that ordinary people, united, could change the course of history, and boy, were they right. Aujourd'hui, nous nous tenons sur les épaules de générations de militantes et de militants du parti qui a porté ce mouvement en Ontario, dans les bons moments et dans des moments très difficiles aussi. You know, those generations of party activists, they've carried our movement forward in good times, but also in some really challenging times. And if this isn't one of those challenging times, I don't know what is, right? The rise of authoritarianism all around the world and right next door. Billionaires and oligarchs distorting our democracy. Donald Trump's attack on our workers and our very sovereignty. We are witnessing the horrors of a genocide reverberate here at home, while more people than ever are struggling just to keep their heads above water and to get to their next paycheck. Reaching people in the midst of all of this, and I've heard this from so many of you so many times, but in the middle of all of this, getting folks to take any kind of action, let alone vote, is not easy. But in moments like this, we can draw on our ideals that our party was founded on, and we can find hope. Right? We have to. Because now, more than ever, people need our voices. The voices of unions, the voices of working people. We need our best minds thinking big and bold and forward to make the best choices now for Ontario. Because, folks, 800,000 Ontarians are out of work right now. Right? We have a premier who is a jobs disaster. People need us to keep taking the fight to Doug Ford like we do every day. And I want to tell you this. You know, when I sit in the legislature, when it sits, not very often, I sit across from Doug Ford with our entire NDP caucus around me. And I always feel like people say, you know, what's it like to get up there and ask those questions to Doug Ford? And I say, you know what? I get to ask the questions that every single Ontarian wants the answer to, and it is a privilege. I don't always get answers. I don't always get the answers. But look, just look at Doug Ford and Ontario. Let's look at Ontario after 8 years of Doug Ford. In Kenora, a child fighting for her life was flown 1,700 kilometers to London because there were no available ICU beds in the north. Yeah, shame. Toronto, a renter was hit with an $800 rent increase overnight. It's bananas. And in Amherstburg, a laid-off worker watched the premier pour out a bottle of Crown Royal for the TV cameras and then watched him leave without lifting a single finger to protect the actual jobs at that bottling plant. And I want to tell you, in North Bay, a young woman just hit send on her 200th job application, desperate for some opportunity and finding none. And what did Doug Ford have to say to her and the thousands like her who are facing record unemployment? Do you remember? Yeah, he said, look harder, right? The nerve of that. Yeah, thanks a lot, Doug. This is a premier whose corruption scandals are more well-known than his accomplishments, right? This is the guy who is ready to carve up the Greenbelt and sell it off to his wealthy friends until we stopped him. We did that, you did that, Ontarians did that, right? And by the way, I don't know if anybody knew this, but it was right here in Niagara 2 years ago this week that Doug Ford reversed himself on that and apologized in the Margaritaville parking lot of all places. Like, you really can't make this stuff up. But this is a guy who is spending billions to subsidize a luxury spa in downtown Toronto while the schools across this province are being forced to cut programs, right? This is a guy who sat on his hands as the workers in Windsor formed a human blockade to stop manufacturing equipment at Titan Tool and Die from being ripped out and shipped south. He sat on his hands, and 300 people used to work at that plant. Now there are just 27, and they are all being locked out. That's Doug Ford. That's his legacy. So I want to ask you this. Do we have to settle for that? Are we going to settle for that? You're darn right we're not. We don't have to, and we will not. When workers and our very identity are under threat, we don't need stunts. We need jobs. Right. And you know what else we need? We need a plan to protect them. A plan to create more. New Democrats, we are going to deliver that plan. Yeah. And I want to tell you, you can see it in the resolutions that we are debating right here in this hall this weekend. Bold, progressive solutions to the problems that are facing Ontario right now. A plan to make Ontario a more resilient, a more prosperous place to live, a better place to raise a family with good unionized jobs. Yeah, a plan that invests in manufacturing here that uses Ontario steel in bridges and buildings, that builds cars and buses and trains now, not a fantasy tunnel that will never get built. A plan that keeps our power and our energy systems public and helps us weather the climate emergency. And my friends, a plan that develops our natural resources sustainably without bulldozing the right to free, prior, and informed consent of First Nations. Yeah. How about this? How about a plan that puts our kids first? Right? Not by taking away the voices of parents, but by funding our schools and supporting our education workers. En français, je vais le dire encore, un plan qui met nos enfants en premier, non pas en retirant la voix des parents, mais en finançant nos écoles et en soutenant les travailleurs et travailleuses de l'éducation. By lowering our class sizes, by getting our kids the resources that they need, and by making sure their hunger doesn't get in the way of their learning. And by the way, while we're at it and we're feeding those kids, let's source that food from our amazing, fantastic Ontario farmers, right? Yeah, let's hear it for Ontario farmers because they feed Ontario. Right on, yeah. That's right. And you know, it's a plan that would fund our colleges and our universities. So we can graduate the skilled workers we need and drive innovation. And yes, so we can pay college workers what they deserve. Ontario deserves a plan that makes sure everyone has a safe and affordable place to call home. I've seen too many people lose their homes, too many people on the brink of losing their homes. We need to build new homes, and we need to do it building Ontario lumber, right? And we need to protect tenants by bringing back real rent control, just like they're doing in New York, and you heard it here today. let's fix our highways, our transit systems, and infrastructure, and let's keep people working. Let's lower everyday costs for people on the basics so they don't have to choose between food or rent. How does that sound to you? Let me hear it again. How does that sound to you? And the best part about it is this is the plan that we are going to build as New Democrats in partnership with labor, with municipalities, with First Nations, a plan to win a future that working people in this province can afford. So here we are in Niagara Falls, thinking about all the people who came before us, right? I've been thinking about that a lot this week. And what's the one thing that all of those party founders would expect us to do above all else? Protect our public healthcare system, right? You know it. The one that Tommy built, yes? The one that New Democrats built, where your health card, not your credit card, guarantees that you are going to get the health care you need when and where you need it. Isn't it time, my goodness, this province had a real plan to fix our healthcare system, to stop privatization, to make sure that when you need emergency care, you get it. With more family doctors and more nurses and nurse practitioners and PSWs, new community health centers, a plan that recognizes that our public health care system is our competitive advantage, right? We've always been a party of action. We have always been a party of action. That's why I love the NDP. We are also a party of bold ideas that are rooted in strong values. But to deliver the change that people out there so desperately need, we need a plan to get there. How do we fight together to turn this vision into a reality? I know that to do this, we need to change how we do things. We know we can't run the same campaign and then expect different results. So we will learn from that last election. We will build beyond the solid core that, yes, we held, and we will hold Doug Ford to account. And I'll tell you, NDP, NDP, NDP. And you know what else? We will offer the people of Ontario a better government, something to vote for. Now, look, it starts with organizing, right? We know that. At the door, on the phones, real conversations with real people, just like we were hearing from those incredible organizers this morning. That is the heart of our path to victory. To re-elect our incredible team of NDP MPPs and then win the next 36 seats that we need to form a government. That's what we have to do, 36 seats. And it is going to take relational organizing, reaching into our own communities, our unions, our cultural networks, our faith groups. It means continuing our work on equity in the party to make sure that our movement reflects the people of this province and, yes, meets them where they are. It means growing our membership. Yeah, it means growing our membership and making it meaningful. And that's why soon, and I just got to tell you, I know this is going to make some of you very, very happy. Every new member will have, wait for it, an actual membership card. Yeah, I know you want one. I have heard you, and we are going to do it. I want one. It's a simple reminder of your part in the movement that we're building together. It's something to take pride in. But look, because our path to victory, as I said earlier, it depends on that next generation of leaders. I'm also very proud to announce that we will be establishing the Ontario NDP Leadership Program. This is a big deal. It is a first of its kind program to train our future candidates, our future campaign staff, our organizers, to give young people in this party real opportunities. And we're going to do it in collaboration with Andy, with the party's committees, with our incoming executive, and yes, with our own staff union. And building, I want to tell you, on the success of similar programs that we've been looking at, like in our movement, like the Black Youth Fellowship, right? It was an amazing program in Toronto. But here's the thing, our new leadership program, it's going to give participants the skills and the mentorship and the hands-on experience to lead us to victory in 2029 and beyond. We have to build that grassroots support, right? We have to build that grassroots support riding by riding and neighbor by neighbor. And I got to tell you, people are ready. I saw it in this room today and yesterday, and I saw it in communities all across this province when I was on my All In for Ontario tour this summer. Volunteers, candidates, new supporters, they are ready to keep working, to build on our strong foundation, and to reach new heights. Together, we can build the most dynamic and organized and powerful political movement this province has ever seen. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? That's right. We have an amazing opportunity before us, people. And people are counting on us. We got to get results. We got to get results for people. We got to change this province. Thank you. Okay, you can sit down now. Because look, while Doug Ford and his friends, they're out there busy doing their photo ops, and the Ontario Liberals are going back to the drawing board, I don't know, the third time, I think. New Democrats, we are rolling up our sleeves and we are getting to work. Jobs, homes, public health care, lowering everyday costs, putting our kids first. These are our priorities. This is what we're fighting for. Again, are you with me? Thank you. It is, as I was saying earlier, it is a real honor to lead this party. But it is also such an honor and a privilege to work alongside the strongest, most effective opposition in the country. The team that you elected, the team that are bringing the fight to Ford every day. So let's get them up here. Let's get them up here. Here we go. Give it for our Ontario NDP MPPs, our phenomenal shadow cabinet, These are the folks. These are the folks. Yeah. Look at that. Right on. This is the team representing every region of this province, right? Every region. From the bustle of Yonge Street to the rich farmland of Temiskaming, this is the team that is fighting for you, fighting with you. And let me tell you, there is no path to victory without all of you. Mes amis, il n'y a pas de chemin vers la victoire sans vue. So when we leave this convention this Sunday, let's get out in our communities. Let's invite people to join us, to be part of the change, to be part of the change that we're building. Because when we are united, man, we are unstoppable. Thank you so much, everybody. Merci. Miigwech.
That is NDP leader Marit Stiles at the Ontario NDP's annual convention, this time in Niagara Falls. I'll be there all weekend long. And now the story going into there, she's going to be faced with a review of her leadership of the party. It doesn't look like she's going anywhere. She is holding court in the conga line there on stage in front of all their supporters. She gave a recap reminding them why they are NDP people and her plans to attempt to beat Doug Ford one day during these provincial elections. That's 3 straight majorities for the Conservatives. Let's see what the NDP have in store. A lot of work ahead, she says.